All right, so we will get started here. We just want to run down, I'm going to do a quick rundown of a bunch of different groups that we have going on so everyone is on the same page. Please let me know if you have any questions about any of these groups. First, Team Better Brave, we have a team-wide free group going on that starts tomorrow. It's a 4-day group. It's running Monday through Thursday. We really just want you to stay in contact with the people that you invited to that group and love everybody in the group to make them, see why we all love this accountability group. So those are two main things that you need to do in the next 4 days is just make sure you're staying in contact and then just be really active in our free group. Then we also have a tracker thread available to anyone. It starts tomorrow. It's the 18th through the 22nd, and it is just to commit to any tracker, and we are just sharing them in that little pod. So if you're not in there yet and that's something that interests you, just contact Candace or myself or Andrea, and we will get you added to that. And then December 2nd through the 3rd, Andrea, Self Love Dynasty, excuse me, is running the 3-day refresh. So now is the perfect time to start inviting your customers or on your Instagram stories, maybe do a post, all inviting to the 3-day refresh. That is December 2nd, right? December 2nd through the 4th, I believe. But the most important thing is that you start talking about it now because people need to order by the 21st to ensure that they have their kit ready for that group. And then the new program launches December 3rd. So we have some more track threads that you can opt into, but we'll go with those groups for now. I think we can talk about the other ones on the next week's call. So tonight's call is going to be sharing your insight from those of you that attended the retreat last weekend, and then just to share your takeaways and kind of like your action plan. So who wants to take it away? Alexa, can you start?
I just had a mouthful of chocolate chips. Okay, so I think my biggest takeaways came from the coaches that we talked to. So we actually got to do like a Zoom call just like this with some really awesome ladies that are around our area in Beachbody. And I think it's really cool to do that just because I think we see like people that aren't from around here often, like top coaches. I think it's easy for us to distance ourselves from that. And, it's right there. And if somebody that lives 25 miles away from you can do this, and they're in the same profession or they have the similar situation, like, why not you? And so they kind of talked about that, but I think they also shared some really good tips that I've never thought about. And those were like planning the entire year in advance. And that was just like mind-blowing to me. And it was so silly that it was so mind-blowing because as a teacher, you sit down in the beginning of the year and you plan out your year, what your curriculum is, and you plan some lesson plans and, do all of that. And so that had never occurred to me as a coach as to set up that entire year, your entire year of free groups, maybe your themes for your accountability groups, all of those things, like you can think of in advance, and that makes your life so much easier when you have it all in front of you. I'm in my own free group this week with Katie and Courtney, and we're really excited. but I have to give them props because I have been very scatterbrained in kind of like throwing this together. And while I think it's going to be really awesome and successful, it would have been nice to have that all planned out and have the theme done and all of that stuff. So I think that was probably my biggest takeaway, as well as face-to-face meeting with people. Like if you haven't done it, you have to do it. It is what solidifies everything. It's where you're really able to realize that this is your tribe and that we're all here for you, and really experience that deeper connection than what we get on just on social media. So from here, my plan is to kind of kick it into high gear. I have a goal to reach diamond by the first, and yeah, I've got to change up quite a few things because lately I've been doing the same things and expecting different results, and so now it's time to switch things up and get different results. So that's where I'm at, and yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I will agree with that. The calendar thing is definitely something I need to look at doing myself instead of just week by week, because especially like with how many things we have going on, there's, you don't want to miss things or not give your customers enough time to jump in with you either. So, Emily, Jen, Emily? Okay.
Hey guys. So a lot of the stuff that we heard and learned about over the weekend, I just kept thinking, well, that's kind of a no-brainer, like duh. It's funny how you just have to hear somebody else say it for it to click, and then you just do it. I also liked the planning out your month or your year ahead of time. As a teacher, I'm like, we do that already. Like, why didn't I even think of that? So I think that will help too, but kind of taking a step back, being so early on in being a coach for me, wording. So like, I loved how, I think our first or second speaker said, when you're setting up their packages, refer to the discount option as the preferred customer, and that won't freak out your client if they're thinking, well, coaching, I'm not ready to coach, like what does that entail, and it scares them away. So that's something that I plan on incorporating, just having a system in place as well, like how I plan on keeping track of who I've spoken with, who said no. And I know Candace shared a document with me, and I just need to get it set up for me and how I like to run and work. I think that will really help me. Along with that is just those non-negotiables. Making sure that I am on every team call. I'm listening to those, and follow-ups, Candace. And those national wake-up calls and all of that. Just making sure I'm adding those. Like, those are simple things that even if I can't make it to, I can listen to throughout the week. So just holding myself accountable for those few things, those vitals. And then the other big thing, which I know is going to be super tough, Jelena, you did a really good job of it your wedding week. Like, you legit worked out the day of your wedding, but keeping going even when it's busy, when life is busy and crazy, and that's the last thing you want to do is follow up or go invite or follow other people. Like, just do it. Just find those short chunks of time in your day to get it done. And I think already, because I'm being more mindful of my time and whatever, just when I'm at school, I'm working on school, and when I'm at home, I'm cleaning the house, or like this time. So I think I'm doing a lot better at like inviting, just making it quick and simple for myself, and following up. For me, my next steps are going to be, following the tracker a little more closely, and then working on my wording on things. That's all I got.
Perfect. Great. Emily. Jen, did you want to go?
Sure, I don't care. It's good. To follow up on what Emily just said about the two speakers, I think it was Caitlin Brown had said, "Don't stop before the good happens." So that's kind of something I have in the back of my head is you'll get there. It'll come. It might be a slow process, but like today, this out of the blue, I had like 3 people message me and just be like, "Okay, tell me about what is this stuff you're doing." So it was kind of random, but it was just like, "Yep, don't give up. Just it'll happen. Just don't quit before it starts." Also, the having a plan and show up consistently, like what Emily just said, making sure I'm checking in with on everybody and staying consistent. Pretty consistent with my workouts. I work out every day. I have for many, many years. So that's not a problem, but just checking in with all my girls is something I'm going to have to do better at. But kind of a different take from the retreat was Mariah, the intuitive healer workshop. That was huge for me. It was totally a game changer, mind changer, writing down our dreams, desires, wants, goals, wishes, and then kind of putting it on paper and then burning it and stuff kind of was eye-opening for me. And it was like, okay, that's what I needed to do. Now I'm ready to start over and start fresh. And this is my tribe. These are my girls. And this is my path that I'm supposed to be on. So getting and learning that we all have baggage, we all have issues. How we choose to deal with them is our make or breaker. So I'm excited, looking forward to moving forward. I had a blast at the retreat. Super, super glad I went, and definitely will be going to the next one. Yay! That's all I have.
Oh, I love it. Yes, so I didn't get to meet with Mariah that day, but she had asked me to make an appointment with her prior to the retreat so that I kind of had an idea of what everyone was going to be experiencing that day. And I have to say, like, that is still one of my biggest like takeaways, or like the things I'm working on the most are just some suggestions from her. So that was a huge one for me as well. Jelena. Perfect.
Okay, so all of them, it's basically a lot of the same stuff for me. But what Jen was saying about Mariah, it was a very big eye opener for me, because the words that she used when she said, just get out of your head. She's like, you can do more than you think you can. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. Like I say, like, I just tell myself these things that oh, not me. And I'm like, and then like I only was there for one of the speakers, but when she was, talking about how she got there, and like Alexa said, like, if they can, like, why can't we? Like, of course we can. Like, anybody can do this. And like being so busy just like in life lately, I was really down on myself, just kind of like sticking it out, but like really just not like giving it my all. Honestly, I will admit that, because I was like, oh, this is so hard. Like, no one is saying yes. And then when the retreat thing came up, I was like, okay, I have to find a way to be there, because if I'm not, I'm going to have major FOMO, for one. And two, I know that it'll just kind of light a fire underneath me and just like do all the things for me. So I was just like, I was so excited, and I'm glad I was there. And then also like I learned it just, and this sounds kind of cliche, but I just learned that I can, do this. And like just finding organization in my day. Like, I started getting up like a half hour earlier in the morning. Well, for one, my workouts are longer right now, and that's like a challenge that I'm facing. I'm also like, I can do this and still make time, just be intentional about it. Like, that's another thing. Like, I know Abby was talking about how she'll sit there in front of her, clothes for half hour before she even puts them on. And like, I was like, I do the same thing. Like, I don't know how like 20-30 minutes goes by and I haven't done nothing, and then like just being intentional about like being on my phone and actually doing work, actually sending the invites, actually, going through my story and seeing the people that I have previously invited and saying, okay, it's been, a month since I've talked to them. Maybe I'll just follow up. But for a while there, I was like, oh, this person's going to be like, oh, she's, you can see that they see the message. And so I tell myself, it's like I said, it's all here. Like and that's why what I learned, like I keep telling myself, oh, they think I'm just annoying, I'm not just bugging them. But a funny thing is, I sent someone a message like a month ago about like a boot camp message, and then I was on my phone Saturday or Friday night, whatever day it was, and I had a poll about like free group, yes, or like I want more info, and she put more info. And so I messaged her really quick as soon as I saw that, and I was like, hey, like what questions do you have for me? Like, and I explained and just basically found out she has a bot account, and she's like, I'm not sure I'm really committed to any products or anything yet, but she's like, I think I need that accountability. And I was like, this is perfect. But I was like, if we get you switched over, then you can just join our accountability groups and jump right in. And so like, that was just like, it was the simplest thing, and she's already signed up. We just have to switch her over kind of thing. But I also threw out there too, I was like, hey, do you want to try like a sample of Energize? Like I had recently bought a box of the sticks. So I was like, I need that to have it as a thing to like show people, like, hey, do you want a sample? It's free, because I know when I tried it for the first time, I was like, oh, I don't need that. And then Candace had sent me a sample, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is great. Like instantly my mind was changed. But yeah, no, I'm just working on being more intentional about my actions, especially in the morning, because I realize that's when I get more done. And then I get to work and I feel like I have like 4 or 5 messages from people that I've already like messaged that morning. And it's just like, I'm like, it's a process. Like Jen said, it's a process. But over time, if I'm intentional and I'm repetitive and I just focus on the goals, like I know it'll happen. Like I just have to stay committed and not get so down on myself. So yeah, it was awesome.
Good. I am so glad that you were able to join us for that day. It was great to meet you in person too. Katie, are you up for sharing? Are you feeling well? Okay.
Well, I've never talked on here, so this is the first thing. It's a first for everything. Yes, I am feeling better. I ran down with the flu, for all of you who don't know, on Friday. Right after I found out I passed my EdTPA. So yeah, but to get on the retreat and my takeaways, I think the biggest thing that I truly enjoyed was making that face-to-face connection with y'all. Like it's one thing when you're just doing the sweaty selfies, showing up every day, but making those connections, like real life connections, and being there in person is completely different. And just seeing all the different walks and paths of life is like super moving, and yet we all have this one common thing that we have, and it's to help other people, which literally just reinstilled that like fire, like Jelana was saying. Did I say it right? I probably didn't. No. I'm so sorry. But like she said, and so yeah, that was my biggest takeaway, and just getting motivated again and finding different ways to communicate, and just sending those invites, I think, is another way, because you just get in the habit of with the original, I think, for me. And so finding different wordings is another big takeaway that I found. So yeah, that's what I learned from my retreat.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so I agree. Face to face is huge. Especially, some of us have been in here for 6 months, and it was just a great time to finally meet in person. Alicia, I don't see your video, but do you want to share your takeaways?
I don't have anything prepared, but I can. So I can say a couple things, and I'm not going to turn my video on because I'm in my robe. I wasn't planning on doing this, but no, there was, oh my The retreat was amazing the whole weekend. But yeah, the energy healing was really powerful, and I want to go to Mariah again. That was, yeah, it was amazing. And she actually even followed up with me. I don't know if she followed up with anyone else after the session, like, how were you feeling? I'm like, honestly, I'm exhausted, but she said that's totally normal. And yeah, seeing that there's excuse me, other women in Minnesota wildly successful doing this. So the two other coaches that we had the meetings with, that really did bring it back for me also. Like, that's perfectly attainable, but it takes, I mean, they've been doing it for several years to get to that point. So exactly, like, just keep showing up and good things will come eventually. Like, I didn't join Candace after the first time seeing her video. You know, it took several months for that to happen. And some people just, they need to see you showing up every day to get to that point. Yeah, I guess that's all I have for now.
Well, thank you. I am so glad that you came, and have since decided to like actively start coaching. So that's great, Alicia. Andrea, do you want to share any takeaways from?
I just love face-to-face time, and coming from an introvert, I think that should say a lot, because I would prefer to sit here, and I just got some really cute knee-high socks that are just slouchy and adorable, and they just make me feel all cozy at home here, and I'm just sitting here staring at them like, I'm just in a happy place here by myself. But looking at all your faces, like, I truly can't even explain the joy that's like bubbling out of my chest as like the mama, grandma, great-grandma, great-great-grandma coach that I am to all of you. Like, I could literally cry right now, just because the reason why it says so much coming from an introvert is like, I have truly found my people, and my people keep finding more people that are my people. And so we keep growing this family and linking arms together, that it just makes me emotional. And I'm just so grateful for face-to-face time. I'm grateful that I was able to be there and to help you guys just like figure out how to make Diamond a super simple thing, because it really is. It's repetition, and it's showing up, and just having confidence in your conversations. Like, you guys, you all can do that. And I would echo everything that you guys said. Mariah is amazing. If you've never like had a session with her, I personally have had one. I will be having more. But yeah, anyways, I just love the face-to-face time, because it just solidifies everything that we do, and that it's worthwhile, and it matters, and you all matter. And it's hard to put in words, because I'm just feeling slightly overwhelmed with gratitude right now, just watching all of you guys reflect.
Yep, I 100% agree with that. Being an introvert, I was quite nervous going into this weekend, or that weekend, just because I just need my time. But it was just great being surrounded by so many wonderful people. I think if nobody has any questions on introverts together, it was perfect. It really was a great weekend. And I'm so glad that you all invested in yourself to be there and to take time out of your busy schedule. I mean, I can't even say like what it feels like to see that we filled up those spots. And like, yeah, it's just amazing.
One more thing, since we're talking retreat, there will be a Diamond retreat, and it will be a destination one. So just know that it's coming in 2020. I have to figure out a time that's a good time for all of us to be booking flights, so that's affordable, and it's not like $400 a ticket, because I don't want that, and I'm not paying you for your flights. You have to get there, but I'll pay for all the rest of it. So just know that it's going to be on a beach. We're going to have a beach house. It's going to be amazing, for diamonds and above only, and you cannot buy your way in. You have to earn it. So just put that on your vision board. It will happen in 2020. So excited.
Emily, you want to go with your questions?
Yeah. First, and I know Andrea and Candace, you've heard me ask this question a ton, but when you guys are crafting your posts, I know on the tracker, the one I'm looking at right now, it's like craft a post and share a post, or bookmark a post, or queue up a post for later. Like, what are your, like, what's your routine, I guess, or how are you fitting all of those things into your schedule? Like, what, I know one of our speakers said you want to, or no, Candace, you did, and you're in Andrea's segment with us, like picking your 5 pillars. Like, how, I don't know, just share how you guys come up with all of your ideas to post daily, to make a post and share it daily. I'm kind of struggling with that. And like how long they should be. I know they can be a variety, but I'm going to stop talking.
Okay, I'll go first. So I guess when I craft my posts, I just kind of want to like, some days it'll be about coaching. Some days it's about my accountability group. Some days it's about life in general. Whether that is something with my grandkids, something with my husband, that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think which ones I just said. I can't quite remember. Coaching, obviously, and then, you know, transformations are in there. So really, like, you just want to have kind of like 7 themes, and you can hit on them every day. So you're just kind of giving them more information into your life. Candace, can you talk? Yeah.
Yeah, they finally fell asleep. Oh gosh, I loved hearing everybody's takeaways. And at crafting posts, I try to kind of just write out the week, and I try to make sure that I have some type of transformation within each like 9 boxes on Instagram. So like 3 rows, make sure I just try to make sure one of them's a transformation. So that's easy to talk about. Like Brittany said, keep a variety. So that's why it's good to like sit down and figure out like what other parts make up you. Like mine's like mom things, maybe just easy meals, coaching and different stuff like that. So, and then also like to go along with what you guys all said about the mapping out your month, when you do that, it's so much easier to know what to post, because like tomorrow I know I'm posting about the 3-day refresh because I just finished up inviting to our free group. So when you have that plan laid out, then that also helps you plan out what posts you're going to do, because you're for sure doing posts to invite to those things, if that makes sense. And then Alexa, I saw you had a question in the chat about like what, as the host, Brittany and I took away from it. And one is that it was amazing, and you all can do this too. I think we have to admit or remind people that we did try to do something like this last spring in May, because I had gone to Andrea's retreat in February, and Brittany couldn't make it because of the weather. And Jeremy had a birthday, I think, and I was like, we've got to do this. And I came back all jazzed up, like, it was amazing. We have to do this for our people. And so we invited literally our boot camp group and anyone and everyone. And we invited, we put it out to the public eventually because we weren't filling our spots. And we made it a day long, because we're like, well, nobody will want to sleep overnight with us. You know, we came up with like excuses. And so I think we live and you learn. And while that day was amazing, that day did not have like our people there. It only had a few people there, a couple people that we'd never even met before. And it was a great day, but we learned a heck of a lot from that. And one is to not sell yourself short, because we didn't think that people would want to sleep over. So we were like, well, we're going to do this, but we'll just do it for a day. And this time we went a little more all in, and we were like, no, we're renting a house and we're doing this, you know, and people will come. And so we came in with a different attitude, if that makes sense, a different energy. And yeah, Emily, it was perfect. Both Brittany and I said afterwards, like, I can't believe the timing, and we didn't know how everything would fit in, and it just went so smoothly. But you learn so much. And it also, just getting your team face to face is incredible. As you guys all know, like I've like can fall down a rabbit hole watching your guys' stories right now. So I'm going to have to unfollow some of you and just go to excited for how many people we're going to help and all that. So Brittany, do you have more to add to that?
Oh, you know, I don't. I'm kind of like, no, hosting it. I mean, yes, like Candace said, we did this in May, and I kind of laughed in May because I'm like, well, Candace, nobody came because we attract our tribe. I wouldn't come to this, and I'm hosting this. Honest. And so, but the thing that I felt like changed was Andrea and Candace and I were, we went to beer yoga and we went to vision board casting with Mariah. And it was just that face-to-face interaction and doing fun things. And it's like, we need to do this. We need to share this like with our team, and everybody needs to like get together. And it's because you're just lifting each other up, and it's just like when you're, and it's really fun to like hear everyone coming from a different place, like Katie said. And it's, yeah. As a host, I'm still like at a loss for words. But it's 100% doable. Yeah, everyone paid the $200, and all of that went into covering everything. We knew that Friday night pretty much who we wanted involved for our retreat. When we met for like beer yoga and vision board casting, we kind of like knew at that time. Our vision had to adapt along the way. But yeah, it's 100% doable. Yeah, I wouldn't change anything. Like Candace and I had a plan to like follow up after this, after our retreat, and talk about it. And it's like we're both just like, oh my gosh, it went perfect. Like there's not, and I know that sounds like, but I don't know of anything I would change about how any of it went. It was amazing. And again, I'm floored by all of you making time in your busy schedule to join us and investing in yourself. So.
Any last questions from anybody before we wrap up?
When we shared, so I'm speaking from experience, when we shared that meal plan for the free week with people, and some of the stuff, like I know if I look through it and not being like in the swing of things with like healthy eating and being mindful of that kind of stuff, like if I looked at it, I might be like, well, I don't like that stuff. I don't eat it. Do you guys ever, like when you share the meal plan, say like, these are options, like you don't need to? Because I guess I didn't do that. I just shared them because like, no, go ahead.
I 100% went, this is a meal plan to give you an idea. Don't get overwhelmed because there's like 3 or 4 things per category. It's more so one that they can just pick a few things to try that week. And then in the live video and in the rules, we're really just focusing on no alcohol, no sugar, processed food. Really the meal plan is just to give them an idea that we eat real food.
Okay.
So they just take that and they can go any direction with that and what's best for them.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to comment one thing on post crafting. I wish I had a template and a way to just be like, here, this is what I do, because that would make my job easier, because I get this question all the time. My new coaches are like, I could never post like that. I don't have stuff to talk about every day. And honestly, I do pretty much similar to what Candace does. I just make sure that I have a transformation picture in at least the top 9. So if I don't, then I know that that needs to be my next post. And it does not have to be a physical transformation. It can be a picture of my face smiling next to a new picture of my face smiling, and you can see the joy that's now there that wasn't there before. It could be a transformation picture of what I used to eat, a picture of, some crappy macaroni and cheese next to like grilled chicken and steamed veggies or something like that. Like, just have some sort of like, this was me before, this is after. Although right now I'm doing the every single week challenge that I posted on the Self Love Dynasty page. So I'm doing weekly before and afters with Lift 4 for the rest of the year. But then honestly, my pillars evolve, which I think everybody's pillars should evolve because you are constantly evolving. Especially like you were maybe talking about getting married. Well, now you can talk about getting married. You are married, so you can talk about being a newlywed and what that feels like and relate to other newlyweds, things that only newlyweds talk about. If you feel like you're boring, pick up a new hobby. Like, figure out how to knit and talk about, I'm going to learn how to knit, and you're all going to see how terrible my first scarf is, and we're just going to talk about this every once in a while. I'm going to show you my progress. I'm remodeling my bathroom right now. So that's been one of the things I've been talking about is DIY things, and I give people little updates on my stories of what my bathroom looks like. There's really not like a prescription. I just know that I need to talk about, for me, my mental health and how I'm constantly trying to grow and evolve. I just decided I'm going to start going to therapy. So now I'm going to talk about the fact that I have a therapist and what I'm learning in therapy. That's never been a pillar for me before, but it's going to be now. It's just talking about me, and only a small chunk of it, honestly, is my workouts. But I do invite at least once a week with a post. I feel like I'm kind of all over the place, but I do post every single day. So does that help? I feel like that doesn't help, but that's how I've been doing it for 4.5 years. But don't talk just about Beachbody, because everyone will get annoyed with you. Because your people that are out there are, if they're already working out every day, they probably don't need to be in our group because they're already self-motivated and they're doing their thing. Like, you want to show people that you don't have to make this like 100% of your life. Okay, it just enhances your life. So don't like barf Beachbody everywhere. You'll get unfollowed real fast.
All right. If there's no more questions, we will wrap up. Good. All right. Good night, ladies. Have a good week.